morning is there is a light at the end of the war on drugs. Seeking to strengthen his fundamentals and competent communication, Bob is repeating Project 2, Organizing Your Speech. His objectives, again, are to provide a strong outline, a strong beginning and ending, and a thought-provoking message. Please welcome Bob.
Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. Can I help you? Yes, I'd like a pack of MJ Gold filtered, and also a bottle of, a 100-tablet bottle of Coke. I'll make that capsules instead. Okay. Do you want any cigarettes with that? No thanks, I'm trying to quit. Well, that will be $21.95 plus $10 in taxes. Okay, $31.95. Now, getting serious. Is that your worst nightmare that you just heard? Or could that be a stepping stone for a possible solution to the war on drugs? Today, I'm going to take you behind the scenes where you're going to meet some veritable legislators and social workers, as well as judges and attorneys, and see what their thoughts are. And then I'm going to take you to the only country in the world that has decriminalized all drugs within its border. Well, here's what I know. Half of our teenagers have tried illegal drugs at least once in their life. 1.5 million people have taken ecstasy almost every weekend. And we think of drugs as being purely recreational, almost given a sense of entitlement. Yes. Now, I would like to, at this time, mention what we're up against. The war on drugs, unfortunately, has failed. The cost of this whole battle, including the addiction, the money laundering, the drug trafficking, the health costs, community costs, and loss of work, has amounted to $1 to $2 trillion a year, just in this country. Now, prohibition doesn't work, does it? Prohibition has, if anything, raised the amount of health risks, such as HIV and hepatitis C. It has also criminalized law-abiding citizens whose dreams have been broken simply by being caught and denied a future being a great provider in this country of ours. Finally, those prohibitionist countries are also wielding more and more power, and with it, a worrying expansion of legalization being thrown out the works, and actually coming in would be the worry that we're running out of money on this use of drugs. Now, we know that prohibition doesn't work, and we know that we have a lot of inequities that are preserved, such as the fact that black people are 10 times more likely to be incarcerated on drug use than whites. And the war on drugs, folks, is untenable, unachievable, and also prohibitive in cost. Now, the country that is making all these revolutionary changes is Portugal. Portugal has totally decriminalized use of any and all drugs within its border. Okay. Now, a report was furnished in 2009 by Glenn Gerard, who is a noted author and attorney who was conducting a lot of this research. And he told the Times that, judging by all the metrics, Portugal has succeeded in its program. Portugal actually has enabled people to get treatment. It is really a record of the most manageable and the most successful country in the Western Hemisphere that's done something about drugs. Now, I have to say this. By freeing its citizens, it's allowed people to want to get treatment and want to get better. Now, Portugal didn't legalize drugs. What it did was take the criminal aspect away from its users. And that's really important. Instead of going to a criminal court, the citizens are forced to go to a panel. And that panel is called a special addiction panel, consisting of sociologists and doctors and lawyers and judges. And they render their opinion and course of action on a case-by-case basis. Now, we look in contrast at our country, the state of our country. Tobacco, caffeine, alcohol, they are so ubiquitous in society that we almost render them as not really being drugs or very safe drugs, and they're completely controllable. Whereas we know that caffeine is much more addictive than marijuana. We know that alcohol is far more intoxicating than cocaine, and we also know that tobacco renders far more harm than ecstasy. So what do? Recommendations. First of all, let's ditch the Just Say No program and zero tolerance. Folks, they haven't worked. And instead, let's hold families accountable for drug use in their family, putting the responsibility on parents to give an education. Expand education to the schools. Let's decriminalize the use of any and all drugs. Now, if we courageous enough to follow Portugal's policy, then we would free up our legal system. We would reduce our criminals in jail, and we would save billions of dollars. We would dramatically reduce our budgets, and Tom, we would add funds to tax revenue, which in turn will give us money to perhaps do some of the programs that we haven't been able to do at this particular time. We could once again follow this and feel like we are successful and experience social gratification and confidence. I believe that we can also feel inspired to be a light unto other nations and to make this world a better place to live and a safer place to live. Thank you.